Call this meeting of the Villa Park Village Board to order. Today's July 8th at 7 p.m. Clerk Kornicki, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Salella?
Here.
Trustee Kazone?
Here.
Trustee Murphy?
Here.
Trustee Patrick?
Here.
Trustee Tucker?
Here.
Trustee Wagner?
Here.
President Bolfus?
Here, let's all rise for the pledge and then remain standing for a short prayer. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing. Trustee Wagner has a prayer for us.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions that might affect the residents, staff, businesses, surrounding communities, and all those that enter the village of Villa Park. And continue to remind us that all we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and for the service of humanity. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
All right, the next item on the agenda is public comments on agenda items. If anyone has any, does anyone sign up, Matt? Clerk Kornicki?
I have for non-agenda, nothing for
Okay.
agenda.
Well, last call. If anybody has anything on an agenda, item number 5 through 10, now's your time. Seeing none, we'll move on to the amendments to the agenda. Do any of the board members have any amendments? Seeing none, we'll go on to item number 5, is appointments to boards and commissions. We have Planning and Zoning, Benjamin Kessick, from today until April 30th, 2021. Ben will be filling out the unexpired term of Morgan Rickett. She was not able to continue. And Ed Hofstra till April 30th of 2022. He'll be filling out a three-year term from Robin Whitehurst. We have the Economic Development Commission, Dave Casey and Nate Racasco. They're being reappointed till 2022, and then Patrick Groby till 2022 will be a 3-year term. And then the Environmental Concerns Commission, we have Heather Callan for a 3-year term till April of 2022. Do we have a motion for the appointments to boards and commissions? Trustee Wagner.
I'd like to make that motion.
Okay. We have a second. Trustee Kazone.
Mr. President, I'll second it.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Trustee Patrick? No. Trustee Murphy?
Yes. Would you mind, for the benefit of perhaps people in the audience as well as the new trustees, to just briefly go over the process that they go through to be on these boards and how we would understand how many people have asked for appointments and how you make those decisions?
Sure. Well, basically, it's always difficult to get people to volunteer for the commissions. So we make announcements up here and we talk to people who we know, who we thought maybe would work out well on the commissions. So, and then they fill, if we get somebody interested, they fill out an application, they send it to me. Unfortunately, like I said, we don't get a whole bunch of them. Some commissions are much harder to fill than others. And then after I get the commissions and come up with a recommendation, I send my recommendations to the village board. And then the board members can contact me if they have any issues or comments on those individuals. And if I don't hear any, or if everybody says it's okay, then I put them on the agenda for the board to vote. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? With that, roll call vote, please.
Yes. Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes. We have 2 of the new planning and zoning commissioners here in the back row, Ed and Ben. So they're on the new commission. So welcome aboard. And you'll be right to work. Thursday night is your first meeting at 7:30 right here. You'll have a seat up here in the front. So thank you very much for volunteering.
They will be sworn in
Yeah, they'll have to be sworn in, but
at their meeting.
at their meeting. Okay? All right, we'll move on to number 6 is the consent agenda. 6A is the bill listing for the week of June 24th and July 1st of 2019. Is that 2019 is correct? I guess it is, huh? That'd be- For some reason, I was thinking 2020. I was just doing 2020. For the total amount of $512,842.85. And 6B is the minutes from the board meeting held on June 24th, 2019. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Do we have a second?
second.
Trustee Seala? Okay. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes. Item number 7, we'll go to 7A, which is the first reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, increasing the number of Class D-1 full package convenience store liquor license for the package sale of alcohol liquor. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to flip on my mic.
No, ma'am.
I'm going to get a red light here, hopefully. There we go. Got it. Thank you, Your Honor. Johnson's Villa Park, Inc., doing business as Johnson's Lighthouse Point at 1 West St. Charles Road, has requested a Class D1 full package convenience store liquor license. They have successfully completed the background check. The total floor and cooler space dedicated for the display of alcoholic liquor is limited to 20% for Class D1 licenses. Johnson's Lighthouse Point will dedicate 16% of the convenience store floor space. This calculation excludes the space for Subway, Dunkin' Donuts, and the adjacent seating area. With the approval of this license, along with agenda items 7B and 7C for Bulldog Ale House and Ardmore Station Liquors, there would be a total of 64 liquor licenses. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, this is a code change and requires 2 readings, and this is just the first reading, so we don't need a motion. So if anyone has any questions or comments on the board about this 7A. Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, President Bolfus. I had some reservations when we approved or allowed gas stations, whatever, to sell with a certain square footage area to sell alcohol. But now that we've done this, it just seems to me that we have Johnson's Villa Park here applying for a license, and we're going to have competitors not very far away that are going to be able to sell alcohol. And I think that if we don't approve this, we're going to, in a way, be tying their hand behind their back. They're going to have a kind of a competitive disadvantage. So I guess this is the slippery slope we're into now, that we're going to get different, groups coming and applying for liquor licenses. But in this case, I feel it's difficult for me to vote against it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? And as the board remembers, we had a number of discussions on if we want to allow gas stations to sell alcohol. And we did spend some time in looking at other communities to see what they've done. And the board decided that they would have a Class D-1 to accommodate this request. So, any other questions? Okay, we'll see. Oh, Trustee Tucker.
I do have a question. Is Class D1 always going to be full package liquor instead of just a convenience store type beer and liquor, beer and wine?
It's a full package.
It has to be full package?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's always going to have to be full
We'd
package?
have to come up with a different class if you want to limit it to beer and wine. Okay. That's it. Anyone else? Okay, we'll move on then to 7B, which is the first reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, increasing the number of Class B package license for package sale of alcoholic liquor. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ardmore Stations Liquors, located at 405 North Ardmore, is being sold to Amit Patel, owner of Shri Char Corporation. Mr. Patel would like to take over the liquor license and has successfully completed the background check. This license would replace the existing business Class B package liquor license. With the approval of this license, along with agenda items 7A and 7C for Johnson's Lighthouse and Bulldog Ale House. It would be a total of 64 liquor licenses. Thank you, Your Honor.
Again, this is a first reading, so this is just for questions from the board. Any questions for anyone? Any comments? Trustee Kazon?
Just one quick question. Does Mr. Patel have any other licenses, liquor licenses in Villa Park?
No, he doesn't.
This is his first one. That's it.
I know Patel's a very common name, but he doesn't have one. So, anyone else? Trustee Tucker?
Can I ask where that corporation is located?
I really don't know where the corporation's located, so I can't answer that. No, I don't think we have that. We can get that to you tomorrow and let you know, but I don't know where it's at. I assume it's in Illinois, but I can't say.
No, I was real curious because when I was looking at it, it was just listed as Indian. In
Well-
India, that's why I wondered where this corporation's actually
No.
located.
Yeah, it's in the U.S. somewhere.
Well, that's why I was curious where it was at, because
Well,
when
we'll have
I
that
tried to look it
information. We'll have
up,
a
I was
second
wondering,
chance.
because I could only find reference to the country of India
Oh.
for that, and I was like, it's got to be somewhere in this country.
Well, we'll have a second reading on this at the next meeting, and we'll get you the answer on that in the meantime. Okay. Trustee Seola?
Did we not have some discussion on transferring licenses from old owners to new owners?
That's why it's
If so, I don't recall what that was, but
Yeah, earlier, last year, we changed the ordinance that if somebody goes out of business, their license goes away. So the people who are assuming the business have to reapply. That way, if there's some issue with where the liquor store is at, the village board has an opportunity to deny that license.
thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, we'll move down to 7C, which is the first reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, increasing the number of Class 1 restaurant sit-down bar unrestricted license. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. Nifed Hamidi, owner of Roosevelt 100 Court and doing business as Bulldog Ale House located at 100 East Roosevelt Road, has requested a Class I restaurant sit-down bar unrestricted license. He has successfully completed his background check. This is the space previously occupied by Outback Steakhouse. With the approval of this license, along with agenda items 7A and 7B for Johnson's Lighthouse and Ardmore Station Liquors, there would be a total of 64 liquor licenses. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, again, this is a first reading. Do I have any questions from the board? Just so you know, Bulldog is not in operation yet, but, he wanted to make sure you have a liquor license before he finishes his remodeling of the former Outback Steakhouse. He owns a number of other Bulldog Ale houses in the area, and he'd like to open Villa Park. So, any questions? All right. Okay, with that, we'll move on to item 8, which is a second reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending Appendix D of the Villa Park Municipal Code. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village previously adopted the July 1st, 2004 version of the DuPage County countywide stormwater and floodplain ordinance, and all amendments by reference as Appendix D of the village's municipal code. Specific adoption of the new countywide ordinance was revised on May 14, 2019. It is required in order for the village to remain eligible for participation in the National Flood Insurance Program. The May 14, 2019 revision of the countywide ordinance included substantial changes and the renumbering of many of the sections in the ordinance. As a result, the village's stormwater regulations in Appendix D require additional revisions to bring those regulations into alignment with the new countywide ordinance. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. This is a second reading, and we'll need a motion for the ordinance.
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Seola, okay. Do we have a second? Trustee Murphy?
I'll second that,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
Trustee Kazon,
Yes.
Trustee Tucker,
Yes.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Silella,
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
President Wolfus?
Yes. Item number 8 is an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a real estate sales contract for the sale of 631 East Wildwood Avenue. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. At its January 14, 2019 regular meeting, the village board authorized the purchase of the property located at 631 East Wildwood Avenue, and on April 30th, 2019, the village closed on the purchase of this property. As part of a plan to assist with parking concerns within the South Villa Avenue Business District, the village has reached agreement with the property owners of 100 and 110 South Villa Avenue to relocate their landscaping business to 631 East Wildwood Avenue. The village would like to sell the property located at 631 East Wildwood Avenue, and once the outdoor portion of the property located at 100 and 110 South Villa is vacated, the outdoor area would be used as a parking area. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, do I have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Wagner?
I'd like to make that motion.
Do I have a second? Trustee Patrick? Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Okay, we'll start with Trustee Murphy.
I just have a question. I noticed that the appraised value was $1.25 million, and the contracts that we purchased for and are selling for are $1.1 million. So I'm a little curious if anyone has any insight into the differentiating amount, and if we have any estimated expense cost for water remediation or any of these outdoor expenses.
Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, when we purchased the property from AT&T, they provided a slight discount to us to purchase the property for $1.1 million. And at the time, we were trying to find a spot for the property owners at 100, 110 South Villa, and offered them the property at the same cost that the village purchased it for. This property is located, part of the parking lot is located in the floodplain, and will need to be elevated out of the floodplain so that the landscaping business can be relocated to that property. Associated costs, we have some very vague estimates right now, Your Honor and Board. I don't have any confirmed numbers. I will probably later this week or early next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Trustee Wagner.
In the contract, paragraph 4, due diligence inspection, and then subsection 9, we have to provide roof repair documents. Is that just boilerplate language, or is there concerns about the roof?
It's boilerplate, but manager can explain it.
Correct.
And the attorney says correct.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Anyone else? Trustee Kazal.
Is the engineering done yet for that floodplain, or are we still waiting? That's what we're waiting at.
Yes.
Have their calculations been done, or they're just getting the numbers now?
I think we have preliminary figures, right?
We have very
Yeah.
preliminary design figures. Staff is working with the designer, Burke Engineering, to reduce the cost by some best practice methods, and we'll have some firmer costs later this week or early next week. Thank you.
That's good. Anyone else? Okay. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Salella?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Wolfus?
Yes. Okay. We'll move on now to resolution number 10, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a 58-month Comcast Enterprise Service order in the amount of $1,960 per month. Manager Keenan.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village currently utilizes an older T1 line between its fire and police stations for emergency alerting and for contact with DUCOM. Provided by AT&T, this line has proven to be unreliable and must be addressed due to its vital role in emergency service operations. The village's contract with AT&T for this line is set to expire. Staff proposes to include the line services into the Comcast Enterprise Services order for Internet Ethernet services. The village already uses Comcast. Changing the provider and connection will provide increased reliability and speed of these vital emergency services and will only increase the village's monthly charge by $20 per month. Funds for this purchase will continue to be paid from other contractual services account number 10-51201-299. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Do I have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Wagner,
I'd like to make that motion.
do I have a second? Trustee Kazone?
I'll second that.
Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Tucker?
I do have a question. Are we using Comcast right now at the swimming pools in the parks? Was that what we were using with Comcast at both Jefferson and Lufkin at times?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. IT manager Brian Sawyer.
Oh, yeah, Brian Sawyer's here, our IT guy. Oh, absolutely. You get your voice and your face on the camera. Not too often we get an IT guy up there, so.
I think it's on Brian.
There we go. No, currently at the pools, we are using AT&T. So obviously, we don't have any internet access for the pool down there that's closed. But for
Correct.
Jefferson, yes, we're using AT&T for a 4-month period. I'm looking into adding that onto our network so that we don't have to have those costs for 4 or 5 months. I'm able to get it from AT&T without a cancellation cost or anything, but it would make more sense to add the pool onto our network so we can have our phone lines on there and our better synchronicity with our computers when they go over there to log in. We're having some login issues, so.
So we're looking, if I understand you correctly, we're looking into next year having it added to Comcast if we approve this?
No, that would be just myself buying a point-to-point wireless to go from ICC to the pool, because it's just right across the softball field.
Okay.
So it's a pretty good cost. I think it's under $1,000 to get everything working. It's a one-time fee, so you don't have this yearly fees for the pool. That's just for the pool.
That's just for the pool?
Correct.
Because that's only like, what, 4 months we have the Wi-Fi?
Oh, yeah, it's like 4 or 5 months.
4 or 5 months. But ICC is part of the Comcast?
ICC is wireless.
It's wireless?
Correct.
Okay. So it wouldn't be in part of this Comcast?
This
deal?
Comcast line is for the fire station 81. That it'd be to connect the fire station 81 to our police station here, which is basically where everything comes in and out of the village at the police station. This is for better reliability for all the fire calls. Station alerting has to go through there, so it has to go through fire, through the PD, and all across town to 82. So it has to make all these jumps for their alerting, for the lights to go off, for the calls to come into the stations. So the Comcast links are 5 nines reliable. So in the meantime, the restore is 2 hours. So right now, if that line goes down for fire, it's sourcing hardware. If there's a hardware issue, I can't climb a tower. We'd have to have tower climbers if there's a problem up there. So your downtime is going to be probably in days, or at least a day. So that means nothing, no reports or anything at the police stations, or no alerting at either fire station. So it's a pretty critical link. So yeah. That's why I'd like to get it off of a wireless and put it onto the Comcast line.
Okay, so right now we're at wireless, is that what you're speaking of? And we're
Correct.
on Comcast instead?
Anything else? Trustee Tucker? Right, any other questions or comments? Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Okay, Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Sillella?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
President Griffin?
Yes. Okay, item 11 is public comments on non-agenda items. Clerk Konecki, do we have anyone signed up?
Yes, we have Joe Amori, who'd like to talk about Pace Route.
Okay.
Good evening. Hello. Good evening, this is Joe Amori. I am living at 309 East Maple Street. I've appeared previously on the Pace 313 route, the reroute when it was the weight restrictions were put on the bridge at over Salt Creek on St. Charles Road. I felt at the time that the reroute diminished service from Villa Park. It actually took away the bus through the central core of the town. And I've proposed some alternative routes
to be put into place. The west terminal is at the Yorktown Shopping Center. There would be no cost to the village, and I know that there's been members that might have addressed this to Pace and gotten a negative response. However, I have been beating our drum with our state representatives and at the county level, and I've received assurances that our voices will be heard in the future. I hesitate to advance any further proposals without the advice and consent of the board. And I was hoping that either the Traffic Safety Commission or various members of the board might be able to listen in on some alternatives for the route that is currently undergoing now. It runs down 83 from St. Charles to Roosevelt and then goes west along Roosevelt from 83. However, there already is existing service there, Route 301, so it doesn't add. And I believe that we could work with the group that is developing the Route 83 corridor from St. Charles north and propose that the bus route go north to St. Charles along 83 to North Avenue, west along North Avenue to Ardmore, and then south so that you'd have service at the train station. And then from Ardmore and St. Charles, it could branch in any different directions. We could have service along St. Charles to the Lombard Metro Station. It could go back to Westmore, where it used to run. Pace is not against reroutes. They obviously were forced to reroute when the Willow Avenue was under construction, and they put the bus over on Ardmore. So it's just a matter of getting a consensus and a plan and presenting it to them. And so I'm looking for any advice that I can take to Pace through our various elected representatives to get this town so that the town of Villa Park has better Pace service for people who live, work here, and visit. Thank you for your consideration.
Well, you know, the St. Charles Road Bridge will be under construction at the end of July, possibly. So probably by the end of the year, that bridge would be fixed. And hopefully Pace would come back to the same route that they had previously. So.
Well, I understand that, but I thought at this is a point where we could actually improve service, because I believe the service went through the residential areas, where if you served North Avenue and you served Ardmore, where there's a lot more density due to the apartment buildings, and then maybe head west on St. Charles, you could add service to people who haven't had it before. So that's this is the opportunity to improve the service over what we've had in the past.
Which reps have you talked to?
I met with Deb Conroy today. I was chaplain at the county board. It put me in touch with a guy named Michael Blue, who's the lead. Yeah. He's the lead for a company that's Tesca Associates. They're the lead on the Plan 83. I've gotten assurances from Tom Cullerton that he'd work on our behalf. So I think there's a good opportunity. We're not talking about infrastructure. We're just talking about a bus that goes one route versus another.
Well, it would be nice to have a bus go down Ardmore, for sure. So, okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else signed up?
No, that was it.
Trustee Murphy? No. Yes.
Thank you. It's not in relation to Pace, but it does tie into your reference to the St. Charles Road Bridge weight restrictions. I am not a technical expert from any stretch of the imagination, but I did get a resident concern about the weight restrictions and some big trucks that are rerouting through the residential section on Wildwood. And the reference also suggested that some of these trucks that are crossing that bridge that have exceeded the weight restrictions have been getting ticketed in the amounts in excess of $2,500 a ticket. So I'm not sure, I don't have the answer or the solution to either rerouting that or getting that so that these heavy trucks can go over that bridge, but I can tell you that there are residents that are concerned about the truck traffic on Wildwood in a residential section and the amount of the ticketing coming over that bridge. Thank you.
So you're concerned about the truck traffic. I understand that, but the ticketing part, maybe a little clarification on that? they don't like it that they're getting tickets, or?
Well, I'm not familiar with the signage, if there is signage over there saying what the rate restrictions might be.
There is.
It sounds like there
On
are
83
trucks
too.
that are crossing the bridge that exceed the weight limit, and that the amount of the tickets are pretty severe.
Yeah.
One person suggested they had to sell their wife's car to pay their ticket. And so they sound like they're pretty hefty fines. Now, what's the solution to that problem? If they can't cross the bridge and they weigh more than they should, it sounds like they're cutting down Wildwood, and that's causing a concern, and what they're suggesting is a residential area.
Okay. I don't see how going down Wildwood is going to solve the going over the bridge problem.
It's not. It's going to cause a truck concern through a residential section. I think it's two independent concerns.
Okay. All right. Okay, we'll move on to the clerk's report.
No report tonight, thank you.
Trustees' report will start on my right. Trustee Patrick.
Sure. I just want to take a minute to recognize the Villa Park Historical Society and the Villa Park Historical Commission for hosting the Ice Cream Social on July 3rd at the Historical Museum. If you haven't been in the museum, I strongly encourage you to go check it out. Some really cool history in there. Thank you.
Okay. Trustee Seala.
Yes, I'd like to recognize all the members that put the 4th of July parade together. It's very well done, very well attended. I do believe everyone had a great time. I'd also like to welcome our residents to Visit Fuel and Cream, which is a newer business here in town now for ice cream and socialization over on Central. We had a chance to attend it last week, and it was very nice, well attended, and a great addition to Villa Park. So take a few moments and stop on there.
Okay.
Trustee Kazal.
Just a couple things. Wednesday, July 17th will be the meeting of the Economic Development Commission, 5:30 up here in, on the second floor of Village Hall. I think we've got a full commission finally, which is the first time in a long time. So if you're interested in what's going on with the economic development in the town, you can stop by. And real quick to answer Trustee Tucker's question regarding the Sri Shehar Corporation, they are located out of Elk Grove Village.
Thank you.
So they are an Illinois corporation, not an LLC. They are a corporation.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Thank you for that. Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, President Foltis. I just have a couple things. Just want to let members of the public know that the Traffic and Safety Commission meeting for tomorrow night has been canceled because they will not have a quorum. Wanted to let folks know about a program that will be occurring at the Calvary United Methodist Church on Thursday, July 18th. I believe it starts at 7 p.m. This is their third Thursday gathering. They provide a free meal to folks, and the speaker will be the director of the Hope Network. That's the network that deals with heroin and opioid addiction in the county, so it should be very interesting. And it's a ways off, but also Calvary United Methodist Church will be celebrating their 100th anniversary on October 16th, 2021. Wow. It's a ways off, but they're going to start preparing for their big anniversary, so they've got to be one of the older churches in town. And recently saw that the library is planning their grand reopening. We all noticed the progress being made on the construction. Their grand reopening is being scheduled for Saturday, October 19th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So that'll be kind of an exciting event. And that's all I had. Thank you. Oh, I did want to speak to one thing that Joe Amore said. I certainly support your efforts to get that. It certainly makes sense to me to route the Pace bus past the train station. I mean, there's that connectivity issue there, you know. Certainly would like to work with you on that. And I know the manager did pass along the route you suggested, and they were not in agreement with it, but maybe persistence is the trick here. I don't know, but I certainly support your efforts. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, Trustee Tucker.
tomorrow night's the Park and Rec Advisory Committee meeting at Iowa School at 7 o'clock. I also want to point out to everybody, if they haven't noticed, that Deb Collard is putting a program for opium addiction at Willowbrook on July 15th at 6:30, I believe. You might want to check into that. She's got a good lineup of information and a group to explain what's going on and the difference between it and the safety issues in the high school. It's looks like a good lineup, so if you're interested in doing that, that might be something you want to look into, and that is next Monday on the 15th at Willowbrook.
Okay, Trustee Murphy?
Yes, I'd like to share some information that I acquired by attending a meeting out at the DuPage County Regional Office of Education out in Wheaton on June 27th. They have formed a subcommittee for the purpose of creating a local planning guide for all schools and school districts in the county to have consistent emergency operations plans. They're working very hard on it. It's utilizing a consistent county-wide base emergency operations plan, developing it in partnership with municipal and county emergency response agencies. They're suggesting will increase shared resource effectiveness and efficiency during emergencies. The guide that they're working toward describes who will do what, as well as when, with what resources, and by what authority, before, during, and after an emergency. So it's really an impressive undertaking, and it's going to be deployed for all the schools and school districts in the county. So stay tuned for more information and deployment of that guide. Thank you.
Okay. All right, and then the only thing I have, most of the board members have picked up on my 4th of July parade, ice cream shop, you know, that. And I did attend the school safety meeting with Trustee Murphy. It was very informative. It's not just for public schools, it's also for private schools. So they're doing some really good work. So get everybody on the same page, it would help a lot. So with that, I will move down to the manager's report.
Thank you, Your Honor. I too want to say thank you to the VFW for putting a fantastic parade together. I know it's a lot of work. They did a nice job. My second item, Your Honor, is that Senator Tom Cullerton is having a job fair on Wednesday, August 28th at the Odeum. If you'd like to register for the fair, you can visit www.senatortomcullerton.com or call 630-903-6662 with any questions. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, I did forget one thing. Senator Cullerton and Representative Conroy, they had a call in for capital projects that we might be interested in the capital budget down in the Springfield, and they did a great job. We've listed on here, we don't have the money yet, but we are listed here for $1.7 million worth of projects in Villa Park. So as Senator Cullerton told me, you know, if you keep buying gas, you'll be getting that kind of money. So we'll see. So, but we did really well compared to the other communities. Senator Cullerton and Deb Conroy did a great job for us. So, okay, with that, our next board meeting is on Monday the 22nd, right here at 7 o'clock. And with that, we need a motion to adjourn.
President, I'll make the motion.
Trustee Gazone, second. Trustee Wagner.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we're adjourned till 22nd.